Hey everyone, Mother's No Breast here. Today I want to talk about Elena Knows by Claudia Pineiro. One morning, Elena tried to move her foot to walk, but she's struggling to make her feet move because she had Parkinson, a disease that causes a degradation to the outer nerve system. Because of it, even when Elena thinks of moving her feet, the order was not delivered to it. And today is an important day for Elena. When her daughter was found unalive herself, she doesn't believe that her daughter would ever unalive herself, that she was murdered. Today will be the day she called on an old debt to help her find her daughter killer. Elena learned that when her brain orders her feet to move, for example, the order only reaches her feet if the dopamine takes it there. Like a messenger, she thought that day, so Parkinson is herself and dopamine is the messenger, and her brain is nothing, she thinks, because her feet doesn't listen to it, like a dethroned king who doesn't realize he's not in charge anymore. We also have glimpses of her life with her daughter, and they're not always sunshine and rainbow even before Elena's Parkinson was worsened. They have a difficult mother and daughter relationship. The topic was unimportant. What mattered was their chosen mode of communicating. Arguments layered on top of each other, one hidden beneath another, lying in wait and ready to leap forth. No matter how unrelated to the topic at hand, they fought as if each word thrown out were the crack of a whip, leather in motion, one of them less out than the other, blistering the rival's body with words, neither let on that she was hurt. But the storytelling can actually be funny. For example, there's part of the book where they found Rita's body hanging, but how the people who found the body handles it are so ridiculously bad that I actually chuckled from how outrageously awful it is. And that charm is there on each part of the story. For every part that tells a very heavy subject, there are parts where you come out for air with the funny bits, which I would say is necessary because the author did a great job at describing the difficulty of Elena's state of Parkinson, where she described it as she being the passenger and the driver is Her Majesty Parkinson and other more colorful names. And as I mentioned that her brain was the dethroned king. There's a large delay between talks and action, to swivel her head, to raise her head, to put her head back down to see her feet, because the order to move her feet and her head didn't arrive if she's not looking at it. Going to the toilet, putting on and off clothing, cutting her nails, every other small activity that we take for granted was an uphill battle for her. Or straight out impossible to do. It's much more of a battle than when someone told us we need to breathe manually now. Still, she wants to live. Still, she wants to believe that her daughter could possibly end her own life since there was so much evidence that she only need to find someone to help her find it. Elena's deaf body is surrounded by deaf ears, she thinks. More deaf than her feet when they won't walk. All of them deaf. Deaf people who say they understand even though they refuse to listen. The title is also a smart play on Mother's No Best, but also a play on the story itself. Since she lost her only family she lost Rita, her only daughter. She's just Elena now. Am I a mother? What name do you give to a woman with a dead child? I am not a widow. I am not an orphan. What am I? It's a heartfelt story that tells the real story from someone whose life changed and spiraled out of her control in many ways. A widow who's lost her husband, who are grieving with both the loss of herself and the loss of her daughter. This is a great and short book to read and I think you'll enjoy it. That's about it.